Well, first let's turn this music off because we don't want the prick Nazis at Google YouTube to block this video because some recording artist thinks I'm making a fortune off of them. Dickheads. Alright, what we have here is a 2001 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited 4.0, and it needs a new AC compressor. Now, Johnny Engineer decided that, after years of having compressors up here or here, that it would be extra clever to put the damn compressor down here underneath the power steering pump. I looked online, I found some videos, and I found a few videos where people showed before and after having supposedly gotten their AC compressor out just by removing this breather and the power steering pump. But most will show you to take the shroud off, drain the radiator, pull the radiator out, then take this off, then take the power steering unit off, then you have access. I really don't want to do that. So we're going to have an attempt here at doing this just with removing these two things. This is really simple. There's a clip on each corner, so that's four clips to loosen the lid on where your breather goes. And then there is a clamp around the bottom of this that clamps it to the throttle body. You loosen that clamp, and this lid, this, and this will all come right off in one piece. That will leave you with the tray that the breather sits in. Remove the breather, and then there's at least one bolt, maybe two, in the bottom that secures it to the fender. So that's what we're going to try. I may or may not record each and every step, but I will record what I'm doing and how. I'll show you how I got it done. So, I'll see you in just a minute. Well, as you can see, the breather was not, or I'm sorry, the breather pan was not bolted in. Bolts are missing. So that's going to be something that I'm going to have to address. I did find that this Zert of sorts that I believe should be right there, or maybe up here. So I'll fix those. If I have to, I'll tack a little piece of metal in there and then drill it and tack a nut on the back of it. No, not a big thing. Anyway, that was the release collar for the boot that slips down over the throttle body. So now I'm going to get the serpentine belt. Okay, really nothing special. It's a 1/2-inch breaker bar. You can use a ratchet. Goes right in here. Turn it towards the driver's side. Tensioner comes down. Take the belt off the pulley. And it's off and loose. Not rocket science by any means. So your belt's free now. There you go. Okay. Here's your power steering unit off and out of the way. Now, it's held on by 3 very long 13mm bolts. It would be a lot easier, I admit, if you took the shroud off. It would give you more elbow room to get in here and address these screws, because they're so long. You run out of room here, and you got to work between the fins on the fan. So, you know, if that's a shortcut you want to take, fine. I'm trying to do with as little dismantling as possible. So, 3 13mm bolts, one here, and then one that goes all the way through to here. Now, the air conditioner or the AC compressor is held in by 3 bolts. And looking at our new one, we can see that there's one up top here, one on the back, and then another underneath. So the one on top is actually on the bolt that holds this power steering bracket on, and it bolts from the firewall this way. The other bolt is right here where my finger is, and then there's one underneath. Okay, this one here, they're 9/16. They're 9/16. You can just see the head of that one right there, where my finger is. Three of them. Let's get to them. Alright, first thing I'm going to do before we get down to the bolts is get this electrical connector off. This red safety clip, you just take a screwdriver, put it in there, twist it, and that'll release, and then it's just a matter of pressing on this, and it comes right out. It comes right out. It's not a big thing at all. Okay, we got the connector back out of the way. Now I'm going to go ahead. The coolant is all leaked out of this. There's nothing in it. So now I'm going to go ahead and pop these 2 coolant lines off and get them separated from the unit so that they're out of the way. Now, your low pressure line up here, held on with this clip. Just snap this clip off, and after you undo this nut down here, this bolt, then you can just bring this up and bend it out of your way. And then this one down here is flexible down under the engine. So get this nut off. I'm sorry, this bolt. Get this bolt off, and then I'm just going to bungee cord this over here out of the way. It just needs to be out of the way. Don't be bending on it and cranking on it. You'll damage that metal line, and you don't want to do that. So then you got to buy replacements. You don't want to do that. It's 10 mil. See, that's a little flexible, so just don't go crazy with it. Now I'm going to get the, that was the high pressure side. Now I'm going to get the low pressure side off. Same thing, 10 mil. I'll lay this aside. And that should just come straight up. And like I said, that line's flexible, so you can get it up and out of the way. Okay, we're back. Had a small equipment malfunction, but it's taken care of now. Got the high pressure line off. We got the low pressure line off and out of the way. Now we need to get to the two upper 9/16 bolts. One there, then one, remember, that runs from the firewall in this direction that holds on this bracket. So that's what we need to get off. Be right back. And this bolt here that goes through holds the power steering bracket, and then the bolt underneath that runs right next to the oil pan, those are both 15 mil. This one up here was 9/16. Go figure. So it's loose. Now you just gotta see if I can find a way to jiggle it up and bring it out. May end up having to take the steering wheel knuckle here loose. Not sure. We'll see. Alright. If you push all this stuff out of your way enough, this will come out butt side first. It would just peel up and right out. It's tight, but it will come out. Let's get ready to pop that new one in. We're just going to take it and feed it down, just like this. I've left the caps on so nothing nasty can get in it while I'm setting her down. Now I'm going to go down underneath and set it into the cradle underneath there and get the big bottom pin pushed through. It's just a matter of jimmying it back and forth, and it should pop right in. Okay, it just took a little wiggling to get the big long pin through the bottom, and it came back up on top here, and I put this one in because it's set. There's no adjustment on it, but I left this one a little loose so it can match up to the pump when I put it back on. Next, I'm going to hook the electric cable back up, and then the high pressure line and low pressure line on the compressor itself, then the pump. So I'll get to them. Be back. Okay, it's all bolted back in. Don't forget, you can get to these bolts here through the holes in the front of the pulley for the power steering pump. You just got to take your time. Don't lose your patience on it. When you put these back in, these three from the front, and then down underneath, the one that goes from the firewall forward, remember, you're putting steel bolts into cast aluminum, so do not go retard tight. Snug them and walk away. You'll strip those threads out if you try to do much more than that. Last thing I have to do is reconnect the high pressure and low pressure coolant lines, and then put the belt back on. That's it. There's one thing I forgot to mention that I didn't say anything about. If you buy a good replacement AC compressor, mine was a Densko, it'll come with a set of replacement gaskets. These were the gaskets that were on the AC that I took out. They're not real pliable anymore. So be sure and change out your gaskets before you hook up your low pressure and high pressure line. I'm not going to film putting the belt back on. Surely, y'all can figure that out yourself. Okay, I think that pretty well wraps this up. And you can see it's all back together. I started it, let it run for a few minutes, made sure the belt was tracking correctly, and that's it. This thing runs great except for the low oil pressure problem. This is in line for a project, either a engine rebuild or a remanufactured engine swap. I still haven't made up my mind. That little job is done. I hope this video helped someone who needed it, and if you just enjoyed watching it, that's great too. So now you'll notice that there's no comments. I turned the comments off on these. I learned a while back that even though I make it clear that I'm doing this to show what I'm doing, and that I'm not saying it has to be done that way, you still get hammered with people wanting to point out, they would have done it this way or that way, and they don't understand why I did this or that. Well, it's not difficult to understand. I said it at the beginning. This is the way I wanted to do it, and that's what happened. I just don't need a bunch of posts from potato heads who don't have the guts to film their own stuff and post it. Otherwise, I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope it saved you some money. This saves you some money, fantastic. The less money you have to give to the dealerships or the mechanic shops, the better. Keep it in your pocket. All right, guys and gals, take care. Later.